What happens when Hollywood royalty sits across from daytime TV's toughest panel? You won't believe what unfolds when Meghan Markle takes a seat with Joy Behar and the co-hosts of The View in what was supposed to be a standard promotional interview. This isn't just another celebrity appearance gone wrong. It's a lesson in how fast live television can spiral out of control. Before we dive into this story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. Because you won't believe what happens when these two powerhouses collide in the most explosive way. The tension was obvious the moment Meghan Markle walked onto the set. What began as an innocent book promotion quickly turned into one of the most heated confrontations in daytime TV history. The Duchess arrived in a cream-colored blazer, her confident smile firmly in place, but seasoned viewers sensed something simmering underneath. Joy Behar, never known for holding back, clearly came prepared. "Welcome back to The View. I'm Joy Behar, and we're here with Meghan Markle," she announced. Her voice carrying that familiar edge regular viewers recognize as a sign of trouble. The audience clapped politely, but the energy felt forced. Meghan settled into her seat with practiced grace, but her tight grip on her coffee mug revealed the first crack in her composure. "Meghan, thank you for being here," Joy continued, her tone already hinting that this wouldn't be a typical gentle interview. "You're here to talk about your new children's book, but I think our viewers are more interested in some of your other recent projects." The co-hosts exchanged glances. Whoopi Goldberg leaned back with a knowing expression, Sarah N. shifted uneasily, and Sunny Hostin maintained her loyally calm, pen in hand. "Well, Joy, I'm excited to talk about anything that helps children develop empathy and understanding," Meghan said, her media training kicking in. But there was a slight defensiveness in her voice, something Joy picked up instantly. "Empathy and understanding," Joy repeated, letting the words linger. "That's interesting. It's because I've been wondering about the empathy and understanding you've shown your own family lately." The studio fell silent. Even the camera operators seemed to freeze. This was the first real jab. Meghan's smile faltered for a split second before she regained control. "Family relationships are complicated, Joy, and I've always believed in handling private matters privately," she replied, her tone sharper now. Sunny jumped in. "But Meghan, when you put your family business on international television, in interviews, in Netflix documentaries, can you still call it private?" The audience murmured approvingly. This was the direct questioning they came for. Meghan straightened, her training battling with her instinct to defend herself. "There's a difference between sharing your truth and exploiting family drama for entertainment," she said. And with that, she showed she was ready to push back. Joy's eyes lit up. "Your truth. That's a very California way of putting it. But what about everyone else's truth? Your father's, your sister's." "My father chose to work with the tabloids against me," Meghan said, her voice rising. "That's not my truth. That's a fact." "But sweetheart," Joy said, slipping into the tone that made her famous, "don't you think there might be more to the story? Don't you think you might have played a role in how things unfolded?" The other co-hosts watched like spectators at a match. Whoopi stayed silent, letting Joy lead. Sarah looked uncomfortable. Sunny appeared to be preparing her next point. Meghan took a slow sip of her coffee, clearly buying time to shape her response. When she set the mug down, her hand trembled slightly, barely noticeable to the naked eye, but the HD cameras caught it. "Joy, I came here to talk about children's literacy and empowerment. Not to relitigate family drama the media has already dissected ad nauseum," Meghan said, trying to regain control of the conversation. "But that's just it," Joy pressed on. "You can't separate the two, can you? You want to talk about empowering children, but what kind of example are you setting when you cut off your own family? When you make accusations on international television without giving them a chance to defend themselves?" The audience was fully engaged, now some nodding along with Joy. others looking sympathetic toward Meghan. It was the kind of divided reaction that made for great television and even better social media traction. Meghan's jaw tightened. I think that's a very unfair characterization of what happened. My family had multiple opportunities to defend themselves. They chose to work with the tabloids instead of working with me. Or maybe, Sunny interjected smoothly. They felt they had no choice but to defend themselves publicly because you were already doing your defending publicly. When you told Oprah that someone in the royal family made racist comments about your son, that's not exactly keeping things private, is it? The gloves were officially off. Meghan turned toward Sunny, her composure cracking just enough to reveal the fire underneath. Are you seriously questioning whether I should have spoken up about racism directed at my child? I'm questioning the timing, the venue, and the lack of specificity that allowed people to draw their own conclusions and potentially implicate innocent people. Sunny replied with prosecutorial calm. Joy jumped back in, seizing the perfect moment to escalate. And speaking of timing, isn't it convenient that all these revelations came out right when you needed to rehabilitate your public image? Right when you needed to justify walking away from your royal duties? Meghan's eyes flashed. Convenient? You think it was convenient for me to relive the most traumatic experiences of my life on international television? You think it was convenient to have my mental health struggles dissected by millions? The tension in the studio was boiling. What had begun as pointed questions had turned personal volatile, and this was only the beginning. Joy Behar wasn't finished, not even close. She leaned forward, the predatory gleam in her eyes sharpening as she sensed Meghan's vulnerability. The studio lights felt hotter, the silence heavier as everyone braced for the next blow. Mental health struggles. Joy repeated, her voice thick with skepticism. You know what, Meghan? I've been in this business for decades, and I've seen a lot of people use mental health as a shield when they get called out. Are we really supposed to believe that UN actress who worked under Hollywood pressure suddenly couldn't handle being a royal? The audacity of the question sent shockwaves through the room. Some audience members gasped. Even Whoopi raised an eyebrow, though she stayed silent. Sarah N. looked like she wanted to disappear, while Sunny seemed to be calculating the possible fallout from Joy's nuclear approach. Meghan's face drained, then flushed with anger. Her hands clenched into fists on the table. Are you seriously questioning the validity of my mental health struggles? Are you really suggesting I made up having suicidal thoughts? I'm suggesting, Joy replied with ruthless precision, that you have a pattern of playing the victim whenever things don't go your way. First with your family, then with the royal family, and now with anyone who dares to ask you tough questions. The studio erupted. Some booed Joy, others applauded. Cameramen zoomed in on every expression, every twitch. It was the kind of TV moment destined to be replayed for years. Meghan shot to her feet, her chair rolling back. I will not sit here and be lectured about victim mentality by someone who has made a career out of attacking people on television. Oh, so now I'm the bad guy. Joy shot back, rising from her seat. I'm asking legitimate questions millions of people want answered, and you're acting like I'm the problem here. Sunny decided to step in. Meghan, sit down. Let's talk like adults. You came on this show knowing we ask hard questions. You can't expect to promote your book without addressing the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. Meghan whirled on Sunny, her composure completely shattered. You mean the fact that I married into a family that couldn't accept a biracial woman? That I faced racist attacks from the British press while my husband's family did nothing? But that's exactly what Joy is talking about. Sunny pressed on relentlessly. You paint yourself as a victim of racism. But what about the staff members who left your employment? The reports of bullying, are they all lying too? The question hit like a sledgehammer. Meghan's mouth fell open in shock and fury. Bullying. You're going to bring up unsubstantiated allegations planted by the palace to discredit me. Whoopi finally spoke, cutting through the chaos. Hold up, Meghan. I've been quiet this whole time, but now you're losing me. You can't dismiss every criticism as palace manipulation. At some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions. The betrayal was written across Meghan's face. Whoopi, someone she may have expected to be an Alihad, just delivered a devastating blow. The studio audience leaned forward, some filming despite security rules. Responsibility. Meghan's voice cracked with emotion and rage. I took responsibility by walking away from a toxic situation. I took responsibility by protecting my family. What more do you want from me? Joy saw her opportunity. We want honesty, Meghan. Stop hiding behind buzzwords and PR talking points. Admit that maybe, just maybe, you made mistakes. Admit you weren't the perfect victim you've painted yourself to be. Perfect victim. Meghan repeated, almost shouting. You think I wanted any of this? You think I wanted to be attacked by the press every day? To have my father sell stories about me? You think I wanted to be driven to the point where I didn't want to be alive? Joy didn't back down. I think you made choices and now want sympathy without accountability. You want to be seen as a victim without acknowledging the consequences of your actions. Sarah N. finally spoke, trying to defuse the situation. Maybe we should take a step back. No, Meghan cut her off sharply. Don't try to manage me. I came here in good faith to talk about children's literacy. And instead, I'm being ambushed by a panel who had made up their minds about me before I walked in. Sunny leaned forward. Ambushed? You've been on every major platform telling your side. This is the first time anyone has challenged your narrative with real questions. If you can't handle that, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. The words hung in the air. Meghan stared at Sunny with pure hatred, chest heaving with rage. The studio fell silent, except for cameras and distant city noise. You want to challenge my narrative? Meghan said quietly, dangerously. Fine. Let's talk about narratives. Let's talk about how this show makes money tearing down successful women. How you sit here judging and criticizing while hiding behind the guise of asking questions. Joy's face lit up. This was the moment she had been waiting for. The moment Meghan lost control and revealed her true nature. Oh, here we go. Now, we're seeing the real Meghan Markle, the one who can't handle criticism without attacking everyone around her. The accusation hit like fire on gasoline. What happened next would change how people viewed both Meghan Markle and Svu. Neither woman was backing down. Meghan's eyes blazed as she pointed at Joy. You want to know what attacking people looks like? It looks like a 78-year-old who made millions off other people's pain. It looks like sitting behind this desk every day, pretending to be a feminist icon while tearing down women who threaten your relevance. The studio went dead silent. Even the camera operators froze. Joy's mouth dropped in shock. No guest had ever gone for the jugular like this. The co-hosts looked like deer in headlights, unsure whether to intervene or watch the train wreck unfold. Joy recovered first, her voice shaking with rage. Excuse me, did you just call me irrelevant? Let me tell you something, sweetheart. I was doing television when you were still figuring out how to get acting gigs on cable shows nobody watched. And yet, here you are, desperate enough for ratings that you're willing to attack a woman's mental health on live television. Meghan fired back without missing a beat. Tell me, Joy, when was the last time anyone cared about your opinion on anything that wasn't controversy for controversy's sake? Sunny Hostin jumped in, her prosecutor instincts kicking in. Meghan, you're completely out of line. Joy has been a champion for women's rights longer than you've been in the public eye. Meghan spun toward Sunny, venom in her tone. Women's rights. Is that what we're calling this? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like four middle-aged women ganging up on someone for walking away from a situation that was literally killing her. Whoopi finally stood, her presence commanding attention. Now hold on just a minute. You don't get to come into our house and insult us because you don't like the questions we're asking. Your house. Meghan laughed bitterly. This isn't your house, Whoopi. This is a television studio where you perform for cameras every day, just like I used to. The only difference is I was honest enough to admit when the performance was destroying me. The attacks had crossed every line of television decorum. Joy's face flushed red with anger and embarrassment. She had started this fight expecting to win. But Meghan was giving as good as she got, and the audience was captivated. You know what your problem is. Joy snarled, abandoning professional composure. You think because you married a prince, you're untouchable. You think you can play victim and no one can call you out. And you know what your problem is, Meghan shot back, her voice dripping with contempt. You're a bitter old woman who can't stand that someone half. Your age has achieved more in 5 years than you have in your entire career. You're threatened by strong women who don't need your permission to tell their stories. The insult hit its mark. Joy's hands shook with rage as she pointed at Meghan. Strong women. You ran from your responsibilities when things got difficult. You abandoned your family. You abandoned your duties. And now you're playing victim because people won't let you rewrite history. I saved my family. Meghan screamed, her composure shattered. I saved my son from growing up in the same toxic environment that destroyed his father and grandfather. I saved my marriage from people who wanted to see it fail. I saved myself from people exactly like you. Sarah Haynes frantically tried to signal the producers, but the cameras kept rolling. The audience was rapt-some, cheering for Meghan. Kathas for Joy, creating a cacophony of voices. Sunny made one final attempt. Meghan, you can't save yourself by destroying everyone else. Every relationship you've had has ended badly. Your family, the royal family, half of Hollywood. At what point do you look in the mirror and ask what the common denominator is? Meghan stood taller, deadly calm. The common denominator. People who can't handle a woman who refuses to be silent about injustice. People who are more comfortable with victims who suffer quietly than survivors who fight back. People who want to maintain the status quo because it benefits them. She turned to face each host individually, eyes burning. You want to know the real common denominator? Women like you who tear down other women to feel powerful. People who profit from pain while pretending to care about justice. Joy made one last desperate attempt. Oh, please spare us the self-righteous speech. You're not some civil rights icon. You're an actress who married well and now thinks you're qualified to lecture the rest of us about oppression. The condescension was the final straw. Meghan reached for her microphone and unclipped it from her blazer, placing it deliberately on the table. The gesture was clear she was done. You're absolutely right, Joy, Meghan said with icy calm. I'm not qualified to lecture you about oppression. I'm just qualified to recognize it when I see it. And what I see here is for women who have forgotten what it means to support each other. She grabbed her purse and stepped back from the table. The studio fell silent. Every camera focused on her face. I came here to talk about helping children develop empathy and understanding. Instead, I've been reminded why so many people have given up on daytime television. You've chosen ratings over responsibility, controversy over compassion. That's your choice. I don't have to be part of it. Whoopi stood one last time. Meghan, don't leave. We can have a civilized conversation. Meghan paused at the edge of the set, giving a sad smile. This stopped being civilized the moment Joy questioned whether my mental health struggles were real. Some lines, once crossed, can't be uncrossed. Joy, still seething, fired one final shot. "Go ahead and run, Meghan. It's what you do best." The cruelty of the blow was evident. Meghan's face showed a flash of hurt before her composure returned. She looked directly into the camera, speaking to the audience at home. To anyone watching who's ever been told their pain isn't real, who's been attacked for speaking their truth, who's been called too much or not enough, don't let them silence you. Your story matters even when it makes people uncomfortable. With that, she turned and walked off the set, heels clicking in the stunned silence. Cameras followed her until she disappeared behind the curtain. Leaving the four hosts in the wreckage of what had just transpired, Joy tried to recover with a forced smile. Well, that was certainly something. We'll be right back after this commercial break. But everyone knew no commercial break could erase what had happened. The confrontation exposed ugly truths: Joy's willingness to cross ethical lines for entertainment and Meghan's sharp tongue when cornered. Clips and hot takes flooded the internet, dominating headlines for weeks. In the end, nobody won. Both women had revealed sides of themselves that were impossible to forget, leaving viewers to decide for themselves who had been the villain in this explosive encounter. One of the most dramatic moments in daytime television history.